Hey folks, we're back and we're at Sycamore Crossing in downtown Blue Ridge, Georgia. Love these beautiful Friday mornings. I tell you what, and we have 4th of July week coming up. This is our last show before the 4th of July. Now I'll let everybody know before we start, anybody that's available, we will have a show next Friday. Okay, we will have a show here next Friday, but this is time for the All-Star Political Panel. We wish Bruce and Barb well as they're traveling, and we thank Richie for coming up last week. And hey, you know, you have that discussion during the break. Anyhow, so, oh, by the way, welcome. Oh, by the way, glad to have you.
I'm so glad.
So we're glad to have, and many of you know, Joeen is with us this morning, and Rick and Jane, and we went boy, girl, and we understand it may offend you that I've identified genders this morning, but that's the way we went. And did you watch 2 nights? There's 4 hours I cannot get back. Did you watch 2 nights of the Democrat show? I have just come this morning to decide there was nothing debate about it. I have moderated several debates, nothing debate about it, and it just is a great morning that Dr. Whaley brought me my poo chart. So we're going to translate that to the Democrat poo chart. That's what we're doing this morning. We're going to analyze the Democrat poo chart. Yeah. Now, if you were out there and you were using ugly words, you would talk about the bull sh asterisk asterisk the last 2 nights, but we're going to say, so Dr. Whaley has given me a lead in by my poo chart, so that's our fun thing.
Well, we're here up to here in poo. Say that.
we're up
we
to
got
here.
A lot to talk about.
So I got to share this now. Many of you out there, you see us on Friday, and we appreciate the kind words we get from Florida and other areas throughout the week, but you see us on Fridays and you don't really know how well we know each other, so we want to be careful not to say some things that you wouldn't understand, we'll put it that way. So if you've watched the show, Jane has now a new segment called Stomping Around the Kitchen. So I was stomping around the kitchen this week, okay? So it's really funny. So this week something was going on, and they're going to explain it, and it had happened, and I said, oh God, Jane is stomping around the kitchen about now, and the next thing I know, my phone rings, and it's Joeen. So Joeen was not stomping around the kitchen, but almost in the same frame.
She was coming out of her seat.
So it's coming out of her seat. Okay, we got that coming out. So Jane, we're going to start with you. Rick, you just look good there. You don't look bad, so you look good for the camera. You're a regular. You too. You got Jane. Start with what caused you to stomp around, and then we're going to go to Joeen. What's caused you to stomp around the kitchen this week?
You know, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start. What they say is unbelievable. It is so unbelievable. It's like this afternoon it's going to be 85 degrees, and they will go on. It's like them going on and saying it's snowing out here. It's a blizzard. You got to believe it. That's a fact. It's that absolutely ridiculous. It's that ridiculous. And I got so upset listening to it, I couldn't listen. I had to go for the headlines the next morning. I had to turn it off.
I can see that. I mean,
They talk about the debates?
Yeah, everything they said was absolutely ridiculous. I mean, one guy said, I wish I knew their names. You guys do. I don't give a hoot what their names are. I do not care. But one thing that sticks out in my mind is he said, when I'm president, I'm going to create more jobs than this country's ever seen. I'm going to get this economy back in order. And I'm sitting there saying, what are you going to do differently? How are you going to do it differently? Things like that. I don't know.
They have no idea how the economic engine even runs to be able to make a statement.
Well,
no.
So what's unfair is they get up there and they can say anything they want, and there's no accountability, and they're not taking into account whether or not they have a Republican or Democrat Congress. And so you might want to do X, but if you can't get Congress to do it, then all of this is just for nothing. It's no different than when Donald Trump, he immediately put proposals out there to fix health care, to fix immigration, to build the wall, to do all kinds of things, and couldn't get it through Congress. And so he became unable to do some of the things that he was elected to do. And so to get up there and say, I'm going to do this and this and this, and we're going to have health care for all, and we're going to, you know, I mean, it just doesn't, and people sit there and believe it when there's no plan to actually do it. It's very frustrating.
Did you hear anything, Jane? And it's, I understand, I want to ask it this way, but did you hear anything out of the 20 candidates that are seeking the Democrat nomination? Did you hear one single thing that you said, you know what, intellectually I want to hear some more? Did you hear anything?
Let me say this. I heard Rush say a while back he didn't think Kamala Harris had a chance. She was a no starter. But I disagree with everything that comes out of her mouth. But I think she's the front runner. She certainly was last night. She is impressive. She's thought it all out, even though it's bizarre, and makes a good point and keeps her cool, and I think she's pretty bright. So that's about the only...
I've got something.
What do you got?
Well, the guy Delaney from Maryland on the...
Yeah, that same question. I want to hear, and Rick, I'm going to actually let you get in on this, okay? But no, I wanted to hear from you if you heard anything. Kamala Harris, did you hear anything? Let's stay with that question. Who was it? Delaney, former congressman of Maryland.
Yes.
His dad was a union electrician. He had started businesses. Go.
Yes, okay. When they were talking about the socialized medicine, he said something that was so profound and poignant, that was extremely important, that
Oh, I know what he said. Go.
Hear.
You go. Keep going, girl.
That they have done surveys of hospitals, and that if all they're going to receive is the Medicare reimbursement,
they'd be bankrupt.
They would all have to close.
Absolutely.
And I have been talking to doctors for the past year and a half now, asking basically the same question about socialized medicine, and that if all of their payments were Medicare payments, they would find other jobs. They would retire now. My orthopedic surgeon is 50 years old. He said he would not work. He could not afford to work. And who will go to med school? Right? What doctor, what person will go to 7 years of education and residency and all the other stuff they have to do to end up making $75,000 a year? You know, I mean, and incur all of those, you know, the student loans that, of course, they'll be forgiven.
Never. Well, I want to go back in a minute to Kamala Harris, because I understand what you're saying, because, and I want to get into this. I want to ask Rick what he heard in the last 2 nights that he kind of maybe was interested in, whether. And I get it. It's not we agree with them is what was interesting. Yeah. So I want to go back to that, and I am going to lay this out for in a minute. Kamala Harris, what she was doing last night was not trying to answer questions in a debate. She was trying to look like the person that could stand next to Trump in a debate. You with me?
Yep. Yes.
That's what she was doing.
She was setting her course, getting her...
I'm the one, if you look.
Yeah.
And see, and of all people, she took on the head person.
Which was smart. Which was smart, yeah.
No,
in 2 nights, she's the only one that...
The little kid that changed his diaper... He did say, you know, pass the torch.
Pass the torch.
Let me go back to this.
Insignificant.
Yeah,
what is his name in Maryland?
Delaney.
Did you notice after he said that they basically cut his mic?
Yes.
Yes, they
Yes,
did.
they did.
And they did not go back to
And they
him
did not go
because
back
there's
to
2
him.
things Delaney said.
Exactly.
No, there's
I
2
didn't
things
watch it.
Delaney said that I'm going to say it because if you didn't watch the 2 nights, why did we need to say pissed? I mean, for me, it's like I'll say damn before I say, I don't want to go around and say, did you notice the Democrats for 2 nights, they were trying to say they were pissed? Did you hear that? Like, we're pissed. So anyhow, what really makes the left angry with this hate that they have, Delaney said, let's take what's right and keep it and fix the rest.
Yes.
The Democrats want you to believe nothing is right.
Yeah.
That got him in big trouble because he actually implied something could be right there.
Well,
and then, well, wait a minute.
Take Obamacare and fix it.
Well, no, but he said let's in government general, let's take what's good and fix. That got him in big trouble. And his hospital comment. Yeah. He said the minute he said if everybody gets Medicaid payments, they're going to close.
Yes.
And that ended all. Yes. So Rick, let me get to you. in the 2 nights, who was the candidate that, not that you agree with. I think we all understand where I'm going with that. But yeah, just you go interested in, said, hey, I would like to hear some more.
Kamala Harris came out, and her sole mission last night, I believe, was to try to take down Biden, and she succeeded. He basically quit. He said, "My time. I'm not going to talk about segregationists anymore.
Yeah,
my time is
up." You can't ask me about Iran. No,
I'm done.
No, I don't think he did say it, but I'm going to put it in a different way. 2 times he was very thankful that he honored his time was up.
Yeah.
He made it look like I honor my time is up.
Get me out of here.
Right, before I
He's
say
a quitter.
something else.
He's done.
Oh, he's an
He is
idiot.
absolutely
Do you
done.
think he's done?
Yeah.
All right, now Rush said that, and I've had some disagreement.
I'm still sticking with it. He's done.
All right, I disagree. Rush said he's done after the ABC report. He said he's finished. Now
That
Rush
hasn't
did.
even
Rush
come to the surface yet.
I know, but Rush did not put a timeline on that. So Rush could be right that he's done. I didn't say. See, I even last night thought there was a whole lot of cover for him.
Yeah.
And Kamala Harris.
This morning,
Okay.
too. Now I got 2 things.
First of all, you do know Kamala Harris is not African American.
Exactly.
She's just trying to play the part.
She's an Indian.
Right. She's trying to play a part. Number one. And I don't know. I don't do
What's your
well
name,
with.
sister?
I don't do well with angry white women and angry black women. Jane, reel it in, baby.
She's Pocahontas' sister.
No, not a Woo Indian. A red dot Indian.
It works.
All right, the 2 of you,
works.
stop it right now. Anyhow, I think.
Donuts and
First
Slurpees.
of all, Elizabeth Warren on the first night played angry white woman, and she played angry black woman. First of all, I'm gonna ask a stupid question, but do you, and just say yes or no? I'll be like Chuck Todd. Don't use your
raise
timing.
hands.
Yeah, raise your hands. Do you understand the busing issue in America in the 70s? Do you understand that issue? Do you?
I think I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Busing. Do you think the American people understood what she said last night?
Zero.
Okay.
No. I mean, she talked about being bused in the 70s, and people are going,
Hello.
"Oh,
Are you complaining?
Are you taking a bus to work?"
No, she was taking a school
Well,
bus.
of course.
Right.
But
All
it's
kids take a
irrelevant.
school bus now.
It's
they don't
irrelevant.
really walk even through
Because
the
what Biden
got them
and
to
God, I want to make sure the audience knows I am not here to defend Joe Biden in any way. But what Biden did in that vote was not siding with segregationists. He was voting to say that the Department of Education, the federal government, did not need to come in and tell North Carolina, to tell Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, to tell the United States that they had to bus. And that's and I want to make that simple, but it is, because I understand busing. I moved into an area, and and I don't understand this. I moved into an area and I didn't know any. In the Northeast, we didn't know what busing. We didn't know anything about busing. Okay, so when I moved into the South, I moved into a not all white, so I don't want that messed up, but a predominantly white area where I can't help it. That's where a lot of white people live there. Don't know how you're going to take that, but I thought the little grade school down the street, because where I grew up, you went to your local grade school, community grade school. So I thought the local grade school down the street, okay, was going to be where my daughter went to school. And so I went over to sign, we moved there, I went over to sign my daughter up for 4th grade, and they looked and said, "What's your address?" And I gave them my address, and they said, "Your daughter won't go to school here." I said, "My house is a quarter mile from here.
Right.
If the bus breaks down, back in the day, we walked to the school." "What do you mean? Where does she go to school?" "Oh, she goes to school here."
20 miles away.
"That's right." I said, "Excuse me?" "She goes to school here." "Why?" Now, I did not go up, for anybody thinking racial, I did not go up and live in this area or want her to go to that school for any racial reason whatsoever, because I grew up in a diverse neighborhood in Northeast, so that was never my issue. But then she was bused 20 miles at least. So she could be one of 6 kids in an all-black 4th grade. You understand?
We do.
So I don't want to go there, but America, hey, anybody understand that? So you thought that Kamala Harris, I'm going to give you my guy, all right? 2 nights, ready? Not agree with, but the guy that I would love to sit down and just talk to for an hour. Yang. I want to meet Yang. I want to sit down and talk to the guy. I would talk to him for an hour. Because do I agree with everybody getting $1,000 a month? No. But
he's a bright individual.
Absolutely.
He's a very bright
go
guy.
Back to something else.
The Drudge Report poll this morning, which was already closed when I looked at it, Yang was number 1.
Really?
Yes.
He won the debate. I don't know how that is. He hardly got a chance to ever speak. And the newspaper lady, Williamson or whatever, was number 3.
Oh well.
She's gonna overpower Trump with love.
Okay.
So,
Yeah,
holy
right.
mackerel. So
The thing that's just blaring in my brain right now, one little point is that when they said, what do you think when you're president, what will be the most important thing you do after you're president? Biden says, beat Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd already be president. I mean,
Right.
he is a dummy. He is a dummy.
He's dumb as a brick.
But he's dumb as a brick.
So wait a minute. Let
But
me give
here's
a little
my
vote
point.
here. Does Biden stay in? Does he just lose? Does he what? No, one at a time. Biden. Stay focused on Biden. Is he done, Joanne? And how long? Or is he their candidate?
I am not sure that he will be the candidate, but he's still going to be up there, and he will not drop out. He spent too much time working on this, and he's got too much money, and so he made a couple of gaffes. That's never bothered him in the past. I don't think he'll even notice what he said.
That's the point.
Okay, go ahead.
I hope like crazy he stays in.
Yeah.
But I think when he starts to get drummed in Iowa, and he'll see the light, and he'll drop out.
You think so?
I do.
All right. All right. You. Does Biden
I
stay in?
think he's the fair-haired boy for the Democratic people now. I think he is. I think they're gonna lose their affection for him because he's just so idiotic and stupid. He is unsmart.
Unsmart.
I mean, he is unsmart. I mean, that's a better way than stupid.
I'll go with that.
So he's going to, he'll come back tomorrow and the next day and the next day, but he's going to go right downhill, and they're going to have no choice, even though they're going to
Idiotic, stupid, unsmart. This is the reason I always keep my English teacher right next to me.
Those are big words,
You
right?
keep going.
Yeah, they keep. So he's not going to make it. He will not be the nominee. But I'm like Rick. I wish he were, because Trump would eat him
He'd
alive.
eat his-
He would
All right,
spit
take
him
that.
out.
All right, take that. Stop. Anybody in 2 nights. I'm doing like Chuck Todd. We're up against the time, so don't get all wordy, okay?
Your hair is not brushed forward.
Anybody in 2 nights did you see that actually can go head to head with Trump and you feel stands a chance?
Well, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but I was extremely impressed with Kamala Harris. And she has, if you try to picture her and Hillary, I mean, Hillary, who's so washed up and would stand there with all that trite stuff over and over. This woman had fire. She had her facts together. But she came across as assertive but not angry. Okay. She
did.
was reasoned,
Composed.
I think she could look Trump in the eye and argue with him, and I don't think anyone else up there could, and I think she would not lose her cool.
2 nights. Who do
Did
you?
anybody sitting here see anybody the first night
Not a one.
other than Julian Castro? Maybe.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Castro's still wanting to approve abortions for
I know.
transgender
I
women.
truly,
Like,
I'm totally
Figure that
understand.
out.
yeah,
But
figure that.
He's the one. He's the one that stood out, though, according to the polls. But nobody from the first night. I mean, you can just. That was really the JV. If you want to talk about JV,
Yeah.
there's nobody on the first night that I thought was.
All right, well, wait a minute.
formidable.
The question. So you're having difficulty. I'm going to give you an additional 10 seconds to answer. I'm going to give you an
Tick
additional
tock.
10 seconds
Answer the
to
question
the
you
answer the question
Yeah.
that we were originally asked you, okay? Did you see anybody in 2 nights that could stand up and go head to head with Donald J. Trump?
No, I'm going with Donnie Deutsch. Not one candidate of the 20 that are up there can compete.
It scares me that you and I both agree with Donnie. Okay. What about you?
Well, no, I think Kamala right now is the one that's outstanding. but I don't think any of them can beat Donald Trump.
Do you think she comes out as the front runner today?
Well, I didn't. I taped all that. I told you,
Who
but I
will
could
the
not
media-
watch it. I watched the little things this morning, but she was strong.
We have this crazy illusion, we do, that actually people advance based on, their performance and who they are. That's an illusion. So who is the media? Because this belongs to the media. It don't belong
that's
to the
a
American
different
people.
question.
Who
Can I
will
say
the
something real
media?
quickly?
Yeah, go ahead.
We've been at this, 20 minutes, 25 minutes? Not one time has any of us mentioned Bernie Sanders.
I did.
When?
You did?
I didn't hear you.
I didn't hear
I don't think
ya.
I heard you.
No, I don't think you did.
No.
You didn't mention Bernie Sanders, and
I didn't hear you say
anybody
Bernie
did.
Sanders
Josh,
once.
play it
And
back.
that's the second guy in the.
We're going to go back to the tape. No,
Yeah.
no, I
That's the
agree with
second
you.
guy in the food chain, and no one has talked. None
Not a
of us
word.
have talked about Bernie Sanders.
Okay, so
He came across angry and washed up, and his
who is the media going to push to the front? Because let me
that's
just
the
say, let me
question.
just say this: if you think for 1 minute that the DNC is not corrupt, if you think for 1 minute, my belief today is the DNC has decided Joe Biden. Okay, if you think for 1 minute that I don't think that the DNC and the media is still trying to push him and take care of him. I think these are getting things out of the way. Kamala Harris went after him on his segregation. It's out of the way. I think these, to
It's
me,
the plan.
it's things out of the way. Okay, is my opinion, and it's still in a year and a half away. So it does. But I don't know. But what I'm saying is, who do you think the media is going to make the front runner and try to crown in this? I want to change subjects too.
Yeah, I've got so much I want to say.
I know, but what is? We'll get to what you want to say, but I need these quick answers. Who is the front runner today, according to the media? Who do you think they'll take out?
who they'll choose, who they want to
Yes.
build
Yes.
I think they're still putting their money on Biden. He makes that. I mean, I realize that they've got him so controlled that he doesn't say much. They try to keep him away from places. He didn't do himself any good last night, and he had a bunch of miscues, but nothing really significant. It'll all disappear in a short period of time. He makes that appearance, and he's got connections with
Right.
all of the inroad. I mean, he's connected to everybody.
He's deep state.
Will he still be the front runner? Or what do you think, or who will be the new front runner?
Well, he'll be the front runner by default because I don't think
'Cause they're not
the polls can
running.
come up that quickly.
Do you think he'll be the front
Well,
runner?
one reason they're going to keep pushing him, the deep state and the media, is that he knows where the bodies are
Yes,
buried,
and they
and he
can
not
control
only
him.
knows where the bodies
She
are
says
buried.
it every week.
He is
Jane
a body.
said- yeah.
He is a body. He's in it to hear, and they know he knows.
She just said they can control him. You say that every week.
I've already
Jane says
said
that every
he
week.
is this because he's so dumb.
As much as I dislike Perez, I don't understand why he's latching on to Biden like he does. The DNC chair.
Well,
Because
listen, there's so
the
much going on in
DNC
the
chair was
background.
put in
Oh.
by somebody. Let's not go down that road. You're not with us that often. You visit from time to time, and every Friday we get a chance to do this. And so you do have a lot to say. So what did you bring in some of your notes to make sure that you get a couple of the subjects in you want to talk about?
I just think after listening to the last two nights and all that we've been listening up until this point, is as conservative Republicans, we have a job to do to educate the younger people that are under 45 in this country. If you look at who voted for whom in these polls, it's obviously the young people are still impressed with the messages that they receive. And there are people who clapped over reparations. Okay, I mean, like reparations, like who would be paying the reparations and to whom, right? There is no one that's a slave in the United States, and there's no one in the United States that has owned a slave. And 80 or 90% of the people that were purchased and brought here as slaves were either enslaved in Africa. Most of the ones coming.
It was
to us
already a slave trade.
came from Angola, or they were prisoners of war. the slaves would have remained slaves, and prisoners of war would have been executed at some point in those camps that they had them in. So if they hadn't been brought to the United States, all right, and I'm not supporting slavery, and I'm not saying that it was right. It's something that happened in our past, but everyone that came here is better off, all right? And so who would owe money to whom? And all of the African Americans, or whatever we're calling people, minority people, all the people that are Hispanic are also going to be paying these reparations to each other. I mean, it's like, who is paying?
Don't forget, many blacks own slaves. Did you
Yes.
know that?
Yes.
So blacks pay blacks, we pay blacks, they pay them. I mean, give me a break.
And you know how many hundreds of thousands, and back then that was a large percent of the population, white people came over here as indentured servants from Ireland and Scotland and England, and they worked servitude for 15 to 30 years in inns and in
Did you see-
shops, etc. So they were indentured servants also.
Right.
Are they entitled to reparations?
But that didn't sell. Did you notice in the last 2 nights? No,
They
it
don't
didn't
let it
sell.
sell.
In the last 2 nights, it didn't come up.
And
It was very down.
right, and the other thing is on the student debt, the loan forgiveness.
Never happened.
Okay, I mean, like, I know so many people that didn't go to college because they couldn't afford to incur the debt. All right, they made a decision. They went and sought a trade and became valuable employees of, or their own businesses or whatever. Now you find out that you could have incurred all of this debt and it will be forgiven. And Bernie Sanders' opinion, you know, his plan is that it doesn't have anything to do with income. So even if you incurred $250,000 going to law school or med school, that will be forgiven. But who's paying this? All these people that didn't get a college education, you're going to be paying now your share of all of the doctors and lawyers and whatever. That,
Relax.
you know,
I'm in the kitchen already.
Serenity
In my
now,
brain. I'm
serenity
in the
now.
kitchen.
People need to understand what it means. It sounds nice to have all the student loan debt forgiven, but all the millions of people that didn't get a college education because they were responsible, you know, they're going to now be paying for all of the people that now have the higher paying jobs. It makes no sense.
You know what? You're absolutely correct. However, all they're doing is pandering.
Yes.
The reality
Yeah.
is this will never happen,
Exactly,
Jolene.
but
It'll never happen.
We need to explain that to people because people were voting last night based
All
on
right,
that.
we-
And wait a minute, if they truly want to do something about education, the reason that tuition is so expensive is, do you know how many, if you look at all of the schools and look at their budgets, they have all these professors that make $400,000 to $600,000 a year that don't teach, okay? And they spend millions and millions, if you look at their budgets, on things that have nothing to do with educating the students. So if they took away all of their tax deductions, okay, and so that they couldn't just pay all this money because they can deduct it, you know, on their taxes, they would have to be more responsible. The tuition would be less, and people wouldn't be incurring all of these loans.
Tell us how you really feel. No, wait, no, don't. That was totally. Hell no, don't. Not right now.
Do you really
Now, wait.
do you really think that student loans are all going to be forgiven at any time in our lifetime, in the next generation's lifetime? Do you really think that's going to happen?
No, but that doesn't mean that people won't vote for someone they think is going to do that.
Exactly. That was what they did.
That's the
I told you.
purpose.
Didn't I tell you when we started? I had a rabbit trail.
Yep.
Now I'm going to go down, and I'm going to get time for my rabbit trail. So
Well,
ready?
I get to say something. You get to say.
Yeah,
something.
you get.
to
Yeah,
say-
yeah. You get
What time is
yeah,
it?
don't worry. Just keep
going-
it. Don't worry. Now let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. Okay. Don't interrupt. I know these three. Okay. So, back when Barack Obama was president of the United States, see, I feel the deep state has known this all along. Back when Barack Obama, they're going to tell you every day that we did not have the people coming to the border when Obama was president. The numbers weren't as high, all the above, okay? Don't say a word. So back when Obama and Biden are president, we had our conspiracy theory, which I was on the train watching it, And we had wonder why all of these Walmarts down along the border, all the way from Florida to Arizona, now this is right, were being remodeled. They were shut down. All of a sudden, they were shut down, right? They were all shut down, okay? And everybody was shut down, and they were going to be camps for us. They were going to put us in there, but we didn't know why. And we had an Arizona outside of Phoenix Walmart. They shut it down on one day, didn't tell anybody, run all these people, new plumbing, everything like that, right?
Right.
So it's all across the border. A lot of these big box stores were shut down, and all of a sudden, nobody knew what they were doing. They just went and got permits, right? Okay,
Right.
We'll go with that. Guess what? They are full of what? People we've detained crossing the border. Are they not?
Yep.
How did they know 5 and 6 years ago that they needed to close those down at the border and get those ready to detain people coming across the border in massive numbers?
Well, that was the.
Now that's
I'm gonna tell you why.
How the hell? Because they keep talking about this Homestead, Florida is, it's an old Walmart, right? So how
Well,
the hell
the
did they
thing
know
is,
6 years?
6 years ago, they thought.
You understand where I'm going with that?
But I'm going to tell you why they were empty and why the people are in them instead of us right now. Because when they started renovating these things, they thought Hillary's going to win, and we might already be in those camps. But if Hillary won, Hillary didn't. Plan B was Soros and all them. Then we're going to invade the country. So they had to just change their plans just a little bit. Is what happened, I believe. That's just my own theory.
I believe I don't disagree with you.
I mean, it's a
to
theory,
the point
but
that we all have a
it's
theory. I believe all along they knew what was
They knew
happening
somebody
today.
was. You mean they
It's
knew
all
about
set
the
up.
invasion?
What do you think?
If you go back, you can go back all the way to the Clinton administration. Mm-hmm. And if you really want to get some interesting reading, go to the Flores Doctrine. Flores was the young woman that all the lawsuits were about. Mm-hmm. Started in 85 and ended up in 1997. That's what this is all about. The Clintons were the ones that said we need to silently start moving more people in so that we can get Democrat voters. And if you
No, it's not voters, because they can't vote.
Well, yes,
And
they
then
are
I
going to be.
felt
They will be
they
able
can
to
lie
vote.
about it, but the thing is, the census, which is why when they wouldn't
They're
let us put
gonna get
citizenship
counted.
on there, but they get counted so they get more representation, and that's
More
why
money.
California
Yeah.
is a sanctuary state.
I
They
know.
got
I tell you what, I
But
think we should
counting
do.
them doesn't mean they include. If
This
you're
is
a
not. This is
citizen-
not a joke. I think we should do another segment this week, and I know. I tell you why, because we need to talk about the corrupt John Roberts Supreme Court. Okay,
Lord.
we've got to really bring up. You want to talk about rabbit trails? You're never going to convince me they don't know something on John Roberts, and that
They
they
do.
did, and that
They
they did.
adopted
You're right,
me.
right.
They
But they invoked it again this week.
yeah.
Yes.
They evoke it when they want Roberts
They
to
do.
flip.
Obamacare.
We haven't got
Get rid
to.
of
We
your
haven't got to that.
Right.
We haven't got to the camps. Down there, soap and water. We haven't gotten to. We didn't even get to the daggone. Everybody raised their hand and said they want illegals to have
Healthcare.
healthcare.
Honey.
What the hell?
Notice how many times last night they mentioned cages, that Obama built all of those ones.
He
with the
did.
cages. However, they put those, they're not really cages. It was so that the children would be safe.
Safe
They could
from
put
rapists.
the children in bed at night without having to worry about
Exactly
somebody
right.
crawling into bed with them.
Got it.
They were not
We
cages.
understand.
They
We know that.
We know that.
I
Listen
actually.
to the
We
choir.
need to educate people.
You're right, because in my closer, I've got a couple points. I hate to say it like this. We got to get the winners and losers.
Oh,
Go ahead. You
I've
want
got
first?
a
Go.
winner and loser, but did you see? I think it's true. AOC was in front of a chain link fence, crying. Oh, these children are killing me. She was. It was all staged. She was looking at an empty parking lot. It was all staged. She wasn't down at the border. She wasn't looking at children. It's exposed. Will that ever be said again? No, probably not. So my whole thing that's been going in my mind is with Joey. If we don't do a better job of educating, these kids need to know what the heck socialism does. And the thing about it is, you think everything's going to be free? No. Go look at what Stalin did. I mean, everything's going to be great. We're going to be great. It's not great. And here's a point about teaching people. I'm trying to gather information I can tell to people out there, my friends, when you're talking with these socialist young people, something you can say that will make them think and not get angry. So and what you said today about, I didn't realize it, they turned off McLean's mic. Delaney. They actually turned off his mic. So listen to this. My point is, and what I just wrote down in one of my points to say to people is, yes, you think they're for you now, you're for them, you want free this, you want free that, but there's going to come a time they aren't going to be for you, and they're going to do to you what you want to do to us. And that happened last night. If that's what happened, if they turned his mic off, they turned on their own because their own wasn't sticking to the socialistic line right down the line. They turned his mic off. I mean, that's what they're going to do to all of them.
And Bernie Sanders last night, he said that what his plan was on the socialized medicine, when they asked him, is it going to raise taxes for the middle class? And he goes on, there won't be any more co-pays, you won't have to pay for insurance, you won't have to pay for this, and there won't be deductibles.
You will have to pay taxes.
You will pay more taxes, he says, but you're crossing.
One way or the other.
At Canada or England, right, where
Talking to the
tax
choir.
rate is 55%.
I got it.
We got it.
Winners and losers. Did you give your
Yeah,
winner?
yeah. The winner.
Yeah.
The winner. Oh, the winner. Who's that fabulous guy? David Bellavia, who got the Medal of Honor. I watched the whole ceremony. He from the Afghanistan War. He's the first living recipient from Afghanistan War to receive the Medal of Honor. He saved his whole platoon. He risked his life many times. He saved them. It is breathtaking to listen to. And I sat there and I watched this man, and people were saying things, and he was so humble. And I watched what he did for our country, and I think about those damn Democrats that are up there trying to pull us down and absolutely obliterate our country. And that's when I walked through the kitchen, I went in the living room, I went in the bathroom. I mean, you know how passionate.
Was that the winner and loser? Did you put it together?
He's the winner.
Okay.
I'm not going for a loser.
All right, Rick.
I'm with him on losing.
Okay. All right, my winner, and it should have been weeks ago, but I think it's relevant now. Burgess Owens, his House testimony. He's an ex-NFL football player.
Yes.
Black. When he talked about reparations, he was brilliant.
Brilliant.
Folks, look it up, because you will absolutely see from a black man's point of view the way it really should be. My loser, and she's going to make the all-star list, is AOC again. She's a weekly loser. When she said that she wanted to vote against ever having the daylight saving time because it's another hour of the sun being out and it's heating up the planet, and we've only got 10 years to go.
The sun being out like it's going to change this. I didn't
really
hear that.
Oh yeah. Do you really ever just stop and think what she's saying? That's my loser.
Winner and loser.
My.
Well, I'm not really into the winners and losers, but on the AOC thing, I was going to call about her comment on not making the beds for the illegal kids that were housing. And then I thought, let her just keep on doing the tweets, because she's going to run for something when she's old enough. And we've got so many things out there to show how stupid that she is and how ignorant. But my loser really is going to be the United States if we don't wake up. If there's any chance that a Democrat, a socialist type Democrat, would get elected, we'll be a third world country in 5 to 10 years. And because they're going to open up the border. Did you see how many raised their hand about not by decriminalizing coming across the border?
Decriminalizing.
Castro.
And
Okay.
Yes. All of them did.
All right.
Every one of them.
I got to move it along. I think we should do another segment soon. Really, no joke. We didn't get into the Supreme Court. I want to say some things really quick. The two of you, thank you so much. You were a big help to me last week, Jane and Rick. You guys came down last Wednesday, and last week on the panel, you moved it right along. So I want to thank both of you very much for what you did in helping me out. In the last 2 nights, the question was crisis. What is the crisis in America? And I sit there and I was waiting for one person. I was hoping one person would actually dig deep into the crisis and the many we have in America. And we heard climate change. Crisis. It's a crisis. So let me tell every one of the Democrat candidates, when you were asked, describe the leading crisis in America today, however it is, and you said climate change, I'm going to flip that. Let me tell you what a crisis is in America today. A crisis is a grandmother receiving a phone call. A grandmother gets a phone call and says, we have your 3 grandchildren here at Family Services because your daughter or your son, A, was dealing some sort of methamphetamine drug or opiate, was taking, is in trouble with these drugs, and we had no choice but to take your grandchildren out of that home. And the grandmother is down there today trying to get her 3 grandchildren out of Family Services and trying to figure out what to do with their son, daughter, son-in-law, niece, or nephew that is in a total mess with heroin, opiates, and all the long list, methamphetamines. That's a crisis in America. Not what damn temperature it is this afternoon. I tell you what, every one of you damn people, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you. I'm sorry. Second thing is, this past week, here would have been a nice question on abortion. They were all asked abortion question. But why didn't a true, real media, a true, real journalist look at these candidates and say, on this day, on a radio station in public, the Virginia governor said, quote, hey, after the child is born, we will wrap it, keep it comfortable, and have a discussion with the mother. This past week at the Faith and Freedom Coalition, the President of the United States said that was no longer abortion, that was now execution. 1, do you support the Virginia Governor Ralph Northern in his statement? And 2, do you agree with the President that it is now execution, or would you allow that? That may be real questions, but you're not going to hear them. Crisis in America? Really? Climate change? We'll be back with Jesse Barton, All-Star... No, this is the All-Star Political Panel. Jesse Barton, North Georgia Senior Living, Community Relations Director, Cameron Hall, LJ. Got it all. Take us out.